Hello friends, George here, welcome to the channel. During my research about the Commodore Plus/4, the Commodore Plus/4 was my first computer, I found this Commodore software presentation from the year 1984 on the Internet Archive, and while reading through this document I found something really interesting about the plans of the Commodore Plus/4 in the year 1984. The Commodore Plus/4 was an 8-bit computer which was released in June 1984, planned to be a competitor for the ZX Spectrum, but ended up to be much more a business computer with integrated software for the release. And it's very interesting what they planned to do with the 264 series. This document is provided by Michael Tomczyk. You can find it at the link that I will provide in the description. So here is the outline of the part which I want to present. What is the TET family? We have the family tree, the features of the Commodore 264 family, the comparison with the Commodore 64, where are the differences, some advantages, some disadvantages, and the compatibility with other Commodore products. The software for the TET family, this is the interesting part, which software was planned, and the approach to convert the best of the Commodore 64 series, work extensively with third-party developers. The software is available at introduction, of course. Some productivity software, creation software, education software, and software which will be available later. The future of the TET family, importance of a computer family, acceptability, and the built-in software. Here's the family tree of the Commodore 264 family. They started with 116, and this was the competitor of the ZX Spectrum. This was the initial plan of the 264. The features were advanced 3.5 basic, which had 75 commands, high resolution graphics, 320 by 200 dots, screen window capability, rarely used on these machines, the help key, some programmable function keys, a built-in machine language monitor, 121 colors, 40 columns by 225 lines for text, 2 sound generators, 60K of RAM or 32K of ROM, and uses cartridges, tape or disk for programs. So the next step was the 216. This became later the Commodore 16, but interesting that they put the 2 before the 16. So all the features of the 116 plus full typewriter style keyboard. That became reality, and that became reality too. The Commodore 232, which has all the features of the 216 plus 28K of user memory and 32K of RAM and 32K of ROM. This machine also became reality, but was never sold officially. To my knowledge, it was given to some schools in the UK. Some of the machines survived and are now in collectors' hands. The 232 is a rare machine, but even rarer is the 264, which is all the features of the 234 machine. But it has 60K of user memory, built-in application software, a modem, RS-232 modem with 1900-200 kilobyte baud, 64K of RAM, 32 to 64K of ROM. And the king of the machines was the V364, which had all the features of the 264, plus a numeric keyboard, a built-in speech capability. This is very interesting. It had a speech chip in it, made by the creators of the Speak and Spell machines. Slightly different chip in there. 64K of RAM and 48 until 96K of ROM. So this was the initial plan of the 264 family. So let's go to the features of the 264 family. It has advanced basic 3.5 over 74 commands. There's built-in application software. So the initial plan was to configure the 264 with built-in software. So basically you made a cross on your order, which software you wanted to build in. Let's say you wanted to have business software in, or you want to have a graphic software or programming software. And then the retailer had to open the machine, put in the specific ROM chip, and hand the machine out to you. And this was the problem. The retailers didn't want to configure machines for the customer. They didn't want to open the machine and put in ROM chips in there. That plan was then scrapped, and the Commodore Plus/4 got, as we know, the 3.1 software package, which was a business software package. So the full-size keyboard, an advanced screen editor with a Windows capability, the 64K of RAM, standard 60K of RAM available to user in BASIC, which is almost the double of the C64. RAM and ROM expandable, a help key, 1900-200 RS-232 modem port. This is the user port. Programmable function keys, 32K of ROM standard, up to 32 additional ROM for built-in software. Okay. 40 comments by 24 lines. Text mode, 128 colors. 320 by 200 high resolution mode, split screen and text and high-res graphics, 2 sound channels, upper and lower case letters, number symbols, reverse and flashing characters, full PET graphics character set, serial port, 2 joystick ports, dataset port, RF output and a monitor output. So these were the specifications. So let's go to the next. So now the comparison between the 264 and the C64. So the 264 had some advantages, and these were the advanced basic 3.5 with graphic commands, sound commands, disk commands, programmer it commands, structures, programming commands. I did a video about this here. This is the official tech demo. I will put a link into the description. It will have built-in application software. It will have a machine language monitor, which will be later ported to the C128. Advanced screen editor with Windows capability, 128 colors versus the 16 colors of the C64. This is an advantage. And a much faster modem port, 1900-200 kilobit RS-232 modem port versus the 1200 port of the Commodore 64. This is a point here that many people don't know, the faster modem port. So, a help key, a programmable function keys. So, on some disadvantages, this is the mainly most people know this, no sprites, a business machine, not meant for games, and limited sound. And this is a hint that they intentionally built this machine for business applications. Now the compatibility and incompatibility with other Commodore products. So compatible with the 4040 compatible disk format, kernel jump table, compatible basic, similar zero page, serial bus can use some of the same peripherals, disk drives, 1541 of course, 1520 and the MPS 811 printers and other peripherals like the color monitors. So incompatible to the dataset. The TED series has a known dataset connector. The same also for the joysticks. The tape format, I don't know if this is true, because you can also put in a C64 dataset with an adapter to the Commodore Plus/4, no problem. So no sprites and limited sounds, okay, this is common knowledge. Serial bus and other peripherals like the modem port here, the RS-232 adapter and a VIC modem. So software for the TED family. So they had this approach here, convert the best of the Commodore C64 software and new software by third-party developers. I think this is the point where the Commodore Plus/4 failed. It hadn't a killer application that wasn't available for the Commodore 64. So basically, you could do everything on a Commodore 64, most of the things. Plus, you could play games on it. So why buy a Commodore 264, a Commodore Plus/4, which wasn't even meant to be a business machine, but a ZX Spectrum competitor. Now this is the interesting part, the software available at the introduction. So this is going to be interesting. So adventures, these are the Scott Adams adventures, all in cartridge form. This is here indicated by the C. Actually 3 were released. Golf. Golf is a game on the C64 which has voice capability, and you can see here they planned here a cartridge with the V, and the V is this is the indicated program that can use speech capability. I think they planned to release the 364 at that time, and they planned the voice module for the Plus4, which had already the color of the Commodore Plus4, the 264 series, but unfortunately they only released it for the Commodore C64. Micro Illustrator was released. Infocom games were released, definitely. I have two of them. One of them is Zork. Jackie-Tech, it's one of the better cartridge games. They didn't make many cartridge games. So Tooth Invaders, definitely cartridge game. They didn't make it, unfinished at the time. Triad, I think Triad was a kind of business software, if I'm not wrong. Didn't make it. Viduzzles or Vidazzles is a puzzle game, made it. I have this game. Wizard of War, another interesting entry here. Cartridge and voice. Never made it on the Commodore Plus4, but only on the Commodore 64. Cassettes, I don't know what they mean with cassettes here. A chess game. Chess games were released on the Plus4. C'est la vie. This was not released, and Astrology was not released. Logo was released. I made a video about it. Great package. Maybe the most advanced package for the Commodore Plus4. Pilot, which is some kind of programming language, was released. Imagine, I don't know. I don't think so. Speed Reader 2, maybe, I don't know. So Introduction to Basic was released. Battling Bugs and Concentration, I don't think so. Alien Counter, I don't think so. Number Gulper was released, I think. Early Reader, Early Match, the educational software. So the next is Number Cruncher. This was not released on the Commodore Plus4. So here we have some of the ROMs which were planned for the Commodore Plus4, so that you could configure it. Commodore 3+1, this is the classic ROM software which gave the name to the Commodore Plus4 with the 3+1 software package. EasyCalc was planned as ROM, was released as cartridge. Superscript was also released as cartridge. These are really nice software packages, productivity software packages. Magic Desk was not released for the Commodore Plus4. Then Com264 was not released as far as I know. Financial Advisor was released. The Manager, Easy Finance was released. These were productivity software. Then Pascal, I don't know. I don't think so. The Business Graphic Package and bgraph were also not released. So Commodore planned also software for the time after the release of the Commodore Plus4, some productivity software, the Manager, Assembler Development System, General Ledger, this I know that it exists, Account Receivable, Accounts Payable, exists, Inventory, Payroll, Order Entry, Easy Schedule. This is a line of productivity software. Then educational software, Introduction to Basic, Millikan Series Program, Kinder Concepts Programs, Plato Communications Programs. I'm not sure about this. And some of the recreational software later. Here, Golf, Wizard of War. They unfortunately didn't make it. There are recreations of it from the homebrew scene in the late years. Triad, Chess, and Astrology. Astrology was made for the Commodore Plus4. Triad, I don't think it made it on the Commodore Plus4. So, and last but not least, some points about the future of the TET family. There was pointed out that there is an importance of a compatible computer line, while the Commodore Plus4, the TET family was not compatible to other computers. Expandability, the Plus4 was not a lot expandable either. And the importance of built-in software, which was also a flawed concept. So friends, I think we end the presentation here. For me at least, this was extremely interesting. It was interesting to read about the initial plans about the TET line, about the TET series, which models did they plan and which models came out in reality. Then the software they planned, which software made it in production and which software didn't make it in production. They wanted to port the best software from the C64 to the TED series, but even of the software they picked, only a few made it into production. The focus was definitely on productivity and education. It's a shame that this line of computer was so short-lived. It only was produced between 1984 and 1985. With these words, I want to conclude this small video, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I wish you a nice day and see you hopefully in the next one. Bye bye.